Same thing, I'm probably not going to answer all of these, but I might pick out a couple, maybe even just one, and we can move along. So this question reads, explain the law of diminishing marginal utility and give an example to illustrate it. And our junior tutor has written that the answer is that the law of diminishing marginal utility states that other things constant, the additional utility derived from the consumption of successive units of a good keeps on falling and finally becomes negative. For example, during the consumption of pizza slices, the utility derived from the consumption of the first slice will be the highest. Second slice will give a little less utility than that given by the first one, as our need to consume pizza has been somewhat satisfied or satiated by the consumption of the first slice. The third one will give further lower utility as we have already consumed 2 slices, and so on. So a good example of this is the quantity of money somebody has and their utility over time. So I'm going to denote Q of $ for quantity of money on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, I will denote utility. And diminishing marginal utility was going to be shaped, let me try that again, shaped somewhat like that. Of course, never going quite flat, but each additional unit over time gives less. A good way to say this is somebody has, hypothetically, somebody has $0 and you were to give them like $5,000, call it 5K. This is going to make a very big difference to them, you know, like, so this will be change in utility. Call it change in U1. So yeah, if you have $0, you essentially have no mobility of any kind. If you were to stumble into $5,000 somehow, you know, this would make a very large difference to the quality of your life. You'd be able to buy some food, probably some housing, etc. And then on the other end of this graph, if we say that this person has $995,000 and they make another $5,000, giving them $1 million, we can see by drawing this out that the utility added from this extra $5,000 when you already have a very large amount of money is a very small amount. Because think about it, if you have $995,000, you are more well off than the majority of the population. There's probably an extra $5,000 is going to make a very small difference in the quality of your life. You already have all of your basic needs met, being housing, food, etc. So this is a good example of diminishing marginal utility. Let me look through the rest of these. Maybe we'll do the one at the end. What are the major determinants of the elasticity of demand? Our junior tutor has given a very in-depth answer, which is good. They said that the major determinants of the elasticity of demand are, first, the presence of substitutes. If many substitutes of the good are available, then the demand for the good will be more elastic. 2, that the income level of the consumer, income level of the consumer. Consumers with high income levels have less elastic demand than the ones with low income levels. High income level consumers aren't much affected by changes in the price of goods. So say you're a millionaire, PS5 comes out, but you weren't able to get it right away. Now it's on the resale market for twice as much as it was before. Given that you have so much money, whether you're paying $500, if that's what it originally cost, or $1,000, probably doesn't make all that much difference to you. But if you don't have a lot of money, if you're lower income, you really want to get that PS5 on the first time around because you probably can't afford it on the resale market. 3 would be the nature of the good. A necessity good will have more inelastic demand than the luxury goods, as they are basic needs for living. So that's like, you know, if your income were to decrease, you're not going to stop eating food. You need food to survive. So that's a pretty inelastic good. But if you were to take a huge hit to your income, you know, you might buy less video games. 4, level of price of the good. Demand for goods with a high price level is highly sensitive to changes in price than the ones with low price levels. 5, the postponement of consumption. If goods are such that their demand can be postponed, they have an elastic demand than the goods whose demands cannot be postponed. So for example, if you wanted to go buy a new set of couches, even though your old set's working fine, they've just gone out of style, that's not something you need to do immediately. So you've got a little more leeway when looking at new couches and whatnot, because you don't need them right away. So you can wait until they go on sale. Number 6, number of uses of the good. If a good has many uses, its demand is elastic. As in case of a price increase, demand for only the few important uses of the product remains, and consumers reduce the use in less important uses of the good. In case of a product with limited uses, the demand is less elastic. 7, share in total expenditure. Greater the share in the total expenditures of the good, the more elastic is the demand. 8, the time period of consumption. In short periods of consumption, the demand is less elastic than in longer periods. And number 9, habits of the consumer regarding the use of the product. Goods which are habits for consumers having an elastic demand. I don't really think there's anything I need to write or add to that. I thought that was very well explained, and they listed many determinants. I'm going to leave this here for a quick second if you guys need to take a picture. And then we can move on and maybe be able to get in one more question before I run out of time here.